Hello, I'm Kaiser and welcome to Moose Reads. Before I get started, I want to say that the opinions that I give here are my own opinions. They are extremely subjective. If I dislike a book, it is not a reflection on the author, and it is not a reflection on people who do like it. Different people have different tastes, and that's okay. Today, I will be reviewing Anne of Ingleside by L.M. Montgomery. This is the 6th book in the Anne of Green Gables series. It is a historical fiction. The description says, Anne is the mother of 5, with never a dull moment in her lively home. And now, with a new baby on the way and insufferable Aunt Mary Maria visiting and wearing out her welcome, Anne's life is full to bursting. Still, Mrs. Doctor can't think of any place she'd rather be than her own beloved Ingleside, until the day she begins to worry that her adored Gilbert doesn't love her anymore. How could that be? She may be a little older, but she's still the same irrepressible, irreplaceable redhead, the wonderful Anne of Green Gables all grown up. She's ready to make her cherished husband fall in love with her all over again. 3 stars. I'm really starting to feel like a broken record here. Thankfully, there are only 2 more of these. As with all the rest, this book is fine. It's got more or less the same tone as every other book in the series. The primary difference between this book and the previous entries is that now we are shifting focus to Anne's kids. She's still there, but she's not really the main character for most of the stories. She is a fantastic mom, though, so that's nice. Honestly, I like Anne's kids. They're kind of fun. I'm pretty sure I like Walter best, which is a problem for reasons I'll get into later, but none of them really annoy me. This book also ramps up the religion a little bit. It didn't feel quite as intrusive to me as it did when they were trying to teach Davy to be good, though. I think this is largely because Anne's kids are already good. They're just also kids, so they're learning. The stories about the girls particularly tended to lean more into religion. One of the twins, I forget which, goes through a phase where she thinks she can bargain with her god, so that was definitely my least favorite part. In the end, I think I might have actually liked this a little better than most of the series. I think this has to do with it being a bit more focused. Up until now, the books are more or less short story collections that run through a wide range of characters that are only connected by knowing Anne. Having those characters be her kids felt a little less meandering. I think this is also why I liked the first book better than most of them. It was very sharply focused on Anne, with most of the stories being about her rather than about the people she knows. I think that's it for no spoilers. If you don't like spoilers, now is the time to pause or close the video. For everyone else, let's talk details. I said in my Windy Poplars video that it and this book were published around 15 years after the rest of the series. That doesn't really surprise me for Windy Poplars, but it baffles me with Anne of Ingleside. This book really felt like it should have existed all along, and I'm interested to see how the next one goes so I can get an idea of what the series was without it. There are a lot of things that seem to be established in this book that are kind of essential to the next 2 just based on the titles. Rainbow Valley, which is the title of the next book, is a little patch of woodlands near Ingleside that everyone else calls something else, but her kids renamed in the same fanciful way Anne renamed everything in Avonlea. This book also establishes Ingleside, where I have to assume Rilla of Ingleside takes place, and Rilla herself is born partway through this book. I have to say, I'm kind of surprised that Anne got 4 girls in before she named one after Marilla. That really seems like the sort of thing that should have happened much sooner. She had twins and named one after Diana, but seems to have picked something random for the other, so it just feels weird to me. I didn't really care for the last story in this book. It's the one mentioned at the end of the description, where Anne gets it in her head that Gilbert doesn't love her anymore. She ended up being a lot more chill about it than I think I would have been. See, she starts to notice he doesn't talk to her as sweetly as he used to, doesn't compliment her beauty as much, and doesn't call her Anne girl like he always has, and she starts to worry that he's getting bored of her. Then they receive an invitation to visit a friend on their anniversary, because an old school chum will also be visiting. The chum in question is the girl Gilbert was dating when they went to Queen's. since Gilbert usually refuses all invitations on their anniversary so he can spend the day with Anne, she feels a bit slighted when he immediately agrees to go visit his ex this time. He doesn't say anything about their anniversary at any point, including on their anniversary. At the dinner, the ex is clearly flirting and being rather unkind to Anne, and Gilbert is paying significantly more attention to her than to Anne. So by the time they get home, Anne is feeling a bit fed up. It turns out that he was stressed about a new treatment he'd recommended for a patient possibly not working out, and the gift he'd ordered for Anne was late, so he was hoping she'd just forget. Since she didn't mention their anniversary either, he thought he was in the clear. He also tells her he was just being polite to the ex, and she was honestly kind of annoying him. Once given these explanations, Anne is satisfied and feels secure once more in their marriage. Maybe I'm just jaded from my own failed marriage, but I certainly didn't feel satisfied by this ending. I don't think there's any universe where it's better to pretend you don't have an anniversary rather than admit that your gift is a little late being delivered. After that, because Anne feels so relieved and happy, we get a nice little wrap-up where she leaves Gilbert fast asleep in bed and goes to check on the kids for a moment so she can sigh over them contentedly. This would have been a perfectly fine conclusion to the book if Montgomery hadn't done one thing. There's a weird sort of aside where it describes the crossbar on the window casting a shadow above Walter's head. Then it says that Anne will remember this moment in the future and wonder if it was an omen indicating another cross in France. So I got the impression that Walter is going to die in World War II. Like I said, I think I like Walter best, so I wouldn't be terribly happy to learn this at any point, but it just felt so out of place in this otherwise relaxing conclusion. I don't know why Montgomery included it, and I really wish he hadn't. It kind of ruined the conclusion for me. That's all I have to say about Anne of Ingleside. If you like this video, I hope you'll watch more in the future. Thanks for watching this one. Bye!